Welcome inside the Larry Mahaney Diamond for this Thursday afternoon GNCBL matchup between the 6-8-1 Windjammers and the 10-7 Nor'easters. We're about ready to get going here with the Nor'easters ace Ryan Penny on the mound, getting ready to face James DiGiovanni, who looks at strike one, and we are underway. I'm Charlie Fellows, as always, bringing you this action between the league's first place team currently in the field and their fifth place team at the bat. 0-2 on DiGiovanni, the rising freshman at Worcester Polytechnic. Hits it into right field, going back Gus Lappin, who makes the grab for out number one. Giovanni's retired. The defense around Penny: Andrew Merrill at first, Michael Wern at second, Jack LeBlanc at short, Max Cloutier at third. The outfield from left to right: Brady Graffam, Dawson Gunlaw, and Gus Lappin. And Dylan Furman behind the plate doing the catching for Penny, who now faces off against Brendan Concannon. Another strike. The 5'9" righty out of Flower Mound, Texas, made the trip up here for the summer. First pitch out of the strike zone for Penny. Concannon, a senior at Texas Arlington. Fouled back. Originally from Flower Mound, he's bounced around during his college career as a freshman at Vernon, sophomore at Paris Junior College, and coming off a junior year at UT Arlington, in which he batted .219. Ball two. Apologize to all those watching for this view. We have just two bases plus the pitcher's mound in view, as that's once again out into right. Lappin under it for out number two. For Sam Malgeri, the junior at Plymouth State, who is at first base today. As I was saying, no, not an ideal view, but a trade-off I'm willing to make considering the place I was the last time I called a game at this park. You can't see it, but a little bit to the left of the left edge of the screen, a little shack out in center field. That's where I was. Fouled back for strike one, 1-1 the count. Penny in for strike two. Penny, by pretty much all metrics, is the GNCBL's top pitcher this year. He leads the league, or is in the top 5 in the league in a number of metrics. Second in walks and hits per innings pitched, fourth in ERA, fifth in strikeouts. A senior at Hassan. 1-2 to Malgeri. Swing and a miss, strike three. Penny retires the first three Windjammers he sees in order. After one half of an inning, 0-0. Bottom of the first on the campus of St. Joseph's College here in Standish, Maine. The Windjammers didn't get any runs their first frame, and they will trot out their ace, Owen Sullivan, onto the mound to face off against Jack LeBlanc, the top of the order for the Nor'easters. Sullivan represented these Windjammers at the All-Star game a week ago as LeBlanc cuts and misses. A senior at USM facing off the USM grad student who leads the league in innings pitched. Lined into left field, down for a base hit. Fielded by Peterson, and he will keep LeBlanc at first. Now bring up Michael Wern with a man on. Against Sullivan, as I said, is actually second in the GNCBL in innings pitched. His 38 strikeouts, though, are number one. Warren looks at strike one. Ryan Robertson, the man on deck. Warren is a junior, playing on his home field. He attends St. Joseph's, cutting a miss for strike two. At second base today, he's batting .313 on the season. He's batted in 2 runs. Native of Ellington, Connecticut. Sullivan throws down to first. Oh, 2. Just misses. The defense around Owen Sullivan is Sam Malgeri at first, James DeGiovanni at second, Landon Schwartzman at short, Tyler Lambert at third base as Michael Wern just holds up. That's 2-2. In the outfield for the Windjammers, Sam Peterson, Brendan Concannon, and Colin Ryan from left to right, and Griffin Ruffner behind the plate doing the catching for the USM grad student, Sullivan. Biddeford native. 2-2. Warren works the count full. These teams are at opposite ends of the standings right now. The Windjammers are 5th place in the GNCBL out of 5. But still in it. 6-8-1. Just 5 games back of the Nor'easters at 10-7 in first place. With the playoffs looming. Every game counts, especially for a squad in the scrum for positioning that the Windjammers currently are. And maybe unclear on the count here because you shouldn't be able to take a pitch with a 3-2 count and have the plate appearance not end. Runner goes. That was ball 4. So however many pitches it may or may not have taken, Michael Wern aboard with a walk. Jack LeBlond down to second. He would have had it on a steal anyway. And now here's Ryan Robertson. He is the right fielder today, not Gus Lappin. I misspoke in the first inning. Or the top of the first, rather. He looks at strike one. From Sullivan, the 5'11 lefty. Fouled off by Robertson, the sophomore out of Immaculata, out of Bowdoin, the town, not the college. Graduate of Mount Ararat High School. This season he's batting .294 with 5 runs batted in. Oh, 2. 2 on and none out. Big cut for strike 3. First out of the inning for Sullivan. And that will bring up Brady Graffam, the left fielder from USM, where he's a sophomore, another college teammate of Sullivan's. Looking at strike 1 there. Graffam from Thornton Academy. He's hitting .244 with 7 runs batted in, 3 doubles on the year. One of those would put his Nor'easters on the board first. Lined right at Sullivan. Able to collect himself and throw on to first for out number 1. The runners will advance to second and third. That was out number 2, excuse me. LeBlond to third, Wern to second. Graffam out. Sullivan appears okay. Now Andrew Merrill. The first baseman from East Connecticut State, where he is a sophomore, originally from Oxford. With 2 runners in scoring position and 2 out. That's skied back into the parking lot. Got a window of a Chevy pickup truck out there. Does not look or sound as if anything was broken. If there are any left-handed hitters in either lineup, I'm in grave danger of being hit with a foul ball myself. Diving attempt by Sam Algieri at first base comes up empty on the foul ball. That's strike 2 to Merrill. Sullivan trying to strand two men in scoring position. His 0-2. Lined into center field. That'll drop for a base hit. Into score comes LeBlanc, rounding third. And into score with ease is Michael Wern. Trotting into second with a 2-run double is Andrew Merrill. To give his Nor'easters a 2-run first inning lead. So escape it. Owen Sullivan did not. Now he will face Dylan Furman with a man on second and 2 down. And Furman looks at strike 1. A sophomore at USM from Stratham, New Hampshire. He's hitting .314 on the year. Batted in 5 runs. Into right field. Down for a base hit. Michael Warren's going to try and score from second. And he is in without issue. So Furman with an RBI of his own gives the Nor'easters a 3-run lead. Chris Balzano will step in after this mound conference. Sullivan and his catcher Ruffner talking things over. Excuse me, that extended silence talking about this lineup. Don't have a lineup card here, so we're piecing it together from the numbers of the players, but the left-handed Balzano made things a bit difficult. Sullivan now pitching to him. With a runner on and 2 down, Balzano looks at strike 1. A junior at Roger Williams. Batting .255 with 9 runs batted in. Sullivan not normally the type to allow strong contact like this, but the Nor'easters are seeing him well. To the backstop that goes off of Ruffner's glove. Furman advancing to second. And out of the field of view for the viewers at home. He's there though. And Sullivan knows it. 2-1. Mile high pop up into foul ground and out of play off the third base line. Sullivan, 2-2, just low. Full count to the designated hitter. He deals in for strike 3. He ends the inning with a strikeout on Balzano, but the first place Nor'easters with 3 runs in that bottom of the first. We head to the second inning where the Windjammers a chance to strike back. Top of the second, the Windjammers went in order in the top of the first inning, but the heart of the lineup may be a different story for Ryan Penny, specifically because of who's second of the trio of hitters due up at first. Griffin Ruffner, the catcher out of Ithaca, looks at strike 1 from Penny. He's a sophomore at Ithaca from Exeter, New Hampshire. His freshman year had just 1 at bat, and he struck out. Looks at strike 2 from the Husson senior. And strike three. Second K of the day for Penny. And that will bring up the other all-star from the Windjammers, the GNCBL's very top hitter, Landon Schwartzman, who is the shortstop today. Let's list off his accolades. His .471 batting average is number one in the GNCBL. Just went down a tick or two, though, because of that ground out to third. Cloutier throws on to Merrill for out number two. I suppose I'll finish gushing about him the next time he comes up, but with two down, the batter will be Sam Peterson. The junior at UMaine Farmington out of South Berwick. And now Landon Schwartzman seems to be shaken up. I did not catch exactly what happened, but he is walking a bit gingerly back to the dugout along with manager Derek Wood. So I hope he's okay. The Windjammers certainly do. Anyway, Peterson, a Marshwood High School graduate, looks at strike one. He hit .258 with the Beavers his sophomore year. He's out in left today. Line that one into left field, going back, and just nearly missed being a home run. That's off the wall. But the throw comes into second. A great relay from Brady Graffam to gun Peterson down. He's trying to stretch a wall ball single into a double. He came up empty in that pursuit. So once again, a 1-2-3 inning for Ryan Penny and the Nor'easters. Still a 0 on the scoreboard for the Windjammers. Bottom of the second, Owen Sullivan back on the dish after a rocky first inning. He will dig in first against Gus Lappin, a junior from Husson, who looks at a low ball. Lappin is hitting .212 with 7 runs batted in. And a big cut on strike one, 1-1. Grad student deals, fouled back for strike two. Gus Lappin, a native of South Portland. His sophomore year with Husson hit .194 and batted in 8 runs. Also stole 2 bases, 1 and 2. Cut and a miss. Second K, or third K actually, for Sullivan. Let's bring up Max Cloutier, the third baseman. Looks at strike one. Cloutier, a sophomore at St. Lawrence from Cumberland, fouls that back for a strike. He's hitting .238, reaches base exactly 1/3 of the time. High take. Sullivan, a grad student, as I mentioned, he's in a program for a leadership studies master's degree, as they just misses his mark with that. 3-1, I believe. Sullivan. He went around. That is strike 3. So the count did not have a 1 at the end of it. 4th K already for Sullivan. Now we'll bring up the last man in the lineup for Max Zalewski's Nor'easters, Quinn McCaffrey, a rising freshman at American International down in Massachusetts. Takes high. He's a Brunswick High School graduate. Swings through another one. Sullivan came out in the second inning looking much sharper. And he is a strike away from striking out the side for K's number 3, 4, and 5 through 2 innings. He has been responsible for every out because the one non-strikeout he got was a Brady Graffam ground out that he fielded himself. And he'll field another grounder over to first base for out number 3. Nice clean 1-2-3 inning, just what the doctor ordered. But the Nor'easters retain that 3-0 cushion through 2. We'll be back with more here in Standish. To the third inning we go. Windjammers trail the Nor'easters 3-0, but they have 3 more chances to have a base runner against Ryan Penny as Bob Wing steps into the batter's box. He's a midseason addition to this squad from Windham. He attends St. Joseph's, where he's a rising freshman. Cut and a miss for him. He's a designated hitter today. Takes strike 2. The Windjammers do have a hit. Sam Peterson had that wall ball single that he tried to extend into a double and was thrown out. That's hit well into right, but under it making the catch, Chris Balzano for out number 1. To bring up Tyler Lambert, the third baseman out of Lyman. Not too far from here. Went to Massabesic. Now a senior at Castleton. Penny starts him off low. Ryan Penny and Colin McDonald, the 2 pitchers on this staff with a claim to the ace title of the best team in the GNCBL. Penny's rate metrics are a bit better. Foul back out of play into the woods by Lambert. He played 3 seasons up in Farmington with the Beavers at UMF. Will start at Castleton in the fall. Line into left field, and that will drop for a base hit. Fielded on one hop by Graffam, and Lambert will not try to extend. He is on board with a 1-out single. For batter number 9 in this 9-man lineup, Colin Ryan, the Chelmsford, Massachusetts native, sophomore at UMass Dartmouth. Made a long commute to get here, I presume. Penny once again starting low. The 6-foot lefty out of Thornton Academy. Nearly flawless so far. 0-1, or 1-0 rather, now 2-0. Ryan is out and right today. As a freshman at UMass Dartmouth, he appeared in 2 games, got 5 at-bats. Was not able to get a hit in any of them. He's been more productive this season, or this summer, I should say. 3-0 from Penny. Fires one in the zone. Hitter's count showing bunt and fouled off, so he can't try that again. The defense for the Nor'easters, I suppose I never shared it. Andrew Merrill at first, Michael Warren at second, Jack LeBlond at short, Max Cloutier at third. The outfield, Brady Graffam, Ryan Robertson, and Chris Balzano, and Dylan Furman doing the catching. The first baseman, Merrill, catches that throw from Penny. Fouled, up, and out. Misspoke. That's Quinn McCaffrey over at first. Payoff pitch from Penny. Roped into center field, down for a base hit. Rounding second, heading for third is Lambert. He'll get there. In with a clean single is Ryan, and the Windjammers in business with one away here in the top of the third. Ryan Penny now in a jam with the top of the lineup batting once more, starting with James DiGiovanni, who flied out to Chris Balzano in right field to start the game. Runners on the corners now. Grounded right at Penny, throws on a second one, on to first in time for the double play. So that threat is neutralized. A great awareness by Penny to turn around and turn two. The Windjammers get a couple of hits off him, but come away with nothing. We head to the bottom of the third. Nor'easters up 3-0. The second trip through the Nor'easters lineup ready to begin in the bottom of the third, with Owen Sullivan back on the mound to face a trio of LeBlond, Wern, and Robertson. Weirn, excuse me. I learned an inning ago that I've been mispronouncing Michael Weirn as Michael Wern the entire season, so sorry to him if he watches these. And a strike one for LeBlond, who started the game off with a single, later came around to score on the Andrew Merrill double. High and in. Sullivan fires in strike two. And gets him to chase a low curveball for strikeout number 5 already in just the third inning. Michael Weirn now, who drew Sullivan's only walk of the game. He also came around to score on the Merrill double. One away. Just missing on that. Second pitch in a row, just outside. Sullivan down 2-0. Doing what he can to keep the Nor'easters from extending this cushion and giving his squad a chance to get some runs of their own. They had Ryan Penny on the ropes last inning, so they can do it. Sullivan's 3-0 is in the zone. And gets Weird to chase on strike two. Full count in what was once a 3-0 count. Sullivan trying to win the battle, and he does. K number 6. If we had the Fenway-esque K placards, we would start getting them out right now. He is averaging 2 strikeouts an inning, and Ryan Robertson fell victim to his very first one in inning number 1. Ball 1 delivered by the grad student. High and in for ball 2. Robertson is in center field. As I said, I had his position wrong about 4 times. Finally settled on one that I know is correct because I finally have a lineup card. 2-0 in the zone. Robertson can play many different spots. He moonlights at catcher and outfielder and designated hitter. Cut and a miss for strike 2. Sullivan has struck out 5 of the last 6 men he's faced. Line to first, and not fielded cleanly by Malgeri. Able to step on the bag, though, after a nice grab. Had to triple clutch it, but able to make the play for another 1-2-3 inning. Owen Sullivan doing his job after the first inning to keep the Windjammers in it. We'll see if they can get some more runs in the top of the 4th. The top of inning number 4 set to begin. Ryan Penny squaring off against Brandon Concannon, who pops it up on into foul territory. Coming on and calling for it and making the over-the-head catch is Michael Weirn for out number 1. Does so after just 1 pitch. For Sam Malgeri, made a nice play at first base after bobbling a grounder to end the last inning. He struck out against Penny. And that's hit well into left field, but under it is Graffam for out number 2. 2 pitches, 2 outs. Or 3 pitches. Not positive. Griffin Ruffner also struck out his last time up. As I mentioned, though, Owen Sullivan is in the process of propelling his already league-leading strikeout total into another stratosphere by the end of this game. Ryan Penny is on that leaderboard, too. He came into the day with 18 of them. That is now up to an even 20. Which is under half of Owen Sullivan's 46 on the year. So a spread out leaderboard. Strike 3 delivered by Penny. Just as I was talking about, it adds another one to his total. Another 1-2-3 inning in a game just flying by. We're already halfway home in a 3-0 advantage for the Nor'easters here at St. Joseph's. Bottom 4. Owen Sullivan back on the mound for the Windjammers. Trying to keep his hot streak going against the likes of Graffam, Merrill, and Furman. The latter 2 of which were able to do some damage against him the last time they batted. Brady Graffam grounded out to first. So far in this game, of the 9 outs that the Windjammers have made, just 1 of them did not involve Sullivan, as that's into left field. Popped up and caught by Sam Peterson for out number 1. So I'll make that 2 out of the 10 outs. There have been 6 strikeouts, 2 ground outs to the pitcher, and a pair of flyouts. Andrew Merrill doubled off Sullivan to score 2 runs, and he himself scored from second on a Dylan Furman single. Since that single, though, Sullivan is perfect. But that may be too little too late, unless his bats can crack the Ryan Penny code. 0-2 count on Merrill. The Oxford native, Oxford Hills High School graduate. He's hitting .308 this year. Probably a tick higher due to that double. Taking a ball low and in. Sullivan. Merrill able to hold up, 2-2. And cut and a miss. Another strikeout. That's number 7 for those keeping track. He has had at least 1 K in every inning, and he's had 2 in every inning but this one. So to keep that trend going, he will have to retire Dylan Furman on strikes. Furman singled off him and later reached second on a Griffin Ruffner pass ball. Strike 1 taken, 1-1 the count. On the Stratham, New Hampshire native. Into left field, foul. On a beautiful summer afternoon. Nice breeze. No oppressive heat. Smattering of clouds and a blue sky. Just what you like to see in a game like this. The last time I was here, it was about 1 billion degrees and no wind to be felt, except when it was blowing around my notes. So certainly a welcome change. And speaking of striking out 2 men per inning, that is the pace that Owen Sullivan remains on. With Dylan Furman going down, strikeout number 8. But they've also got him for 3 runs, and that is the margin so far in this one. Back to the action here in Standish. We're already in the 5th inning, if you can believe it. Both starters still in the game. Ryan Penny will pitch to Landon Schwartzman. Excuse me, this is Derek Ducharme batting for Schwartzman. We saw him exit looking a bit shaken up when he batted in the 2nd inning. So a lineup change from Derek Wood. Ducharme is a sophomore at Central Maine Community College, taking ball 2. Originally from Dixfield, graduated from Dirigo High School. Outside 2-2. Into right field, going on Balzano for out number 1. Sam Peterson got the first hit off of Penny, but did not get much time to savor it because he was promptly thrown out on a wonderful relay throw from the left fielder. Grounds that over to short, throwing on LeBlond, but not in time. Peterson able to outrun it for his 2nd hit. So another 1-out base runner for the Windjammers, for Bob Wing, who flied out into right his last time up. So I was saying the first time Peterson batted, he hit a ball off the wall out and left. Looked like it might be a home run off the bat. That left fielder Brady Graffam made an excellent throw to cut him down, trying to stretch it to a double. Wing checks his swing on strike 1. And now he evens it. Penny has performed well thus far, given up 4 hits, but no runs, 3 strikeouts, and no walks. Popped up into the woods by Wing. Part of the reason this game has flown by so quickly is both pitchers have combined for just one walk that was issued by Sullivan to Michael Weirn in the first inning. Since then, the walk-to-strikeout ratio between the two pitchers is 11-0, or 0-11, I should say. Fouled back by Wing to stay alive at 2-2. With a man on and one out. Penny in the dirt, brings the count full. Good stop by Furman to prevent the speedy Peterson from advancing. Payoff pitch from the lefty. Wing staying alive. Playing on his home diamond, or what will soon be his home diamond when he starts school in the fall. Grew up not far from here in Windham. And he takes ball 4. Wonderful at bat from Wing. Now a familiar situation for Penny. 2 men aboard with 1 out. Tyler Lambert singled off Penny his first time up. He's the tying run. Looks at strike 1. This Windjammer dugout is loud and relentless in their praise. You can probably hear it. You're never out of a game if you've got loud teammates behind you like that. Into no man's land in foul territory. No play to be made by McCaffrey. Wing on first. Peterson on second. That's the first walk issued by Penny. Right after I said it as well. 2-1, rope foul. That was 0-2 rather. And 0-2 the count remains. Penny. Missing outside. Another good stop by Furman. Showing the slightest bit of command issues here. See if he can lock in with this 1-2. Missed in the exact same spot. Great plate discipline by these Windjammers hitters. Bob Wing was able to finesse a walk out of the normally pinpoint accurate Penny. Can Lambert? No, he doesn't have to. That's a hit by pitch. Now the command is really in question from Penny as Wing goes down to second, Peterson to third. The bases are loaded with 1 away. And the 9-man Colin Ryan set to bat, but before that, assistant coach Max Zalewski Jr. out to talk with Penny. There was some activity in the Nor'easters bullpen with Andrew Pruill getting loose, along with, I believe, Josh Murphy. But they will stick with Penny. He has made it out of 1-out jams before with a nice double play. That is what Colin Ryan wants to avoid. He singled off of Penny as well. It was the man batting behind him, James DiGiovanni, who grounded into a double play to end that 3rd inning for the Windjammers. And here again is a prime chance to at least get one on the board. Any ball that leaves the infield will do that, as Ryan fights one off. 1-1 the count will move to. The Husson Senior Business Management major. And some high leverage pitches. Fires that one as a strike. To the sophomore out of Chelmsford. Missing low. .511 ready from UMass Dartmouth. Just had a talk with his manager, Derek Wood. Strategy decisions. Penny's 2-2. Fought off. Base is empty, or base is loaded rather, 1 out. And Ryan works the count full for the 3rd straight at bat, or 2nd out of 3. Payoff pitch. High ball 4, and that will score a run. Peterson in from 3rd. Second walk issued in the inning by Penny. And the top of the lineup is up once more. Potentially terrifying if you're a Nor'easters fan. Strike 1 fired into James DeGiovanni, who's flat out to right and grounded into a double play. This top of the lineup not doing so well. Basically, well, and by basically I mean literally all of the base runners for the Windjammers have come in the bottom half of the lineup. Batters 6, 7, 8, and 9 are a combined 7 for 8 in reaching base. Batters 1 through 5, a combined 0 for 10. Lifted into right field by DeGiovanni. Caught on the run by Balzano, and that will score Bob Wing from 3rd to pull the Windjammers within 1. Lambert and Ryan will stay put at 2nd and 1st, respectively, on the sac fly from the Worcester Polytechnic rising freshman, and that will bring up Brendan Concannon, who has flat out and popped out. That keeps the trend, though. Batters 1 through 5 in Derek Wood's lineup, a combined 0 for 11. They have not reached base, and batters 6 through 9 have only failed to reach base once. Technically twice if you count Sam Peterson's single and into getting thrown out, but still. Low for ball 1 to the Texas native. He's batting .219 this year, .682 OPS. Two and 1 the count from Penny. Hitters will be running on contact. Just like that. High and deep into left field, and that's over the fence for a home run. 3-run shot for Brendan Concannon. And just like that, the Windjammers turn a 3-run deficit into a 2-run lead. It is 5-3 in a productive 5th inning for Derek Wood's squad. That scores Lambert and Ryan. And just like that, the tides completely turned. And of course, the viewers at home could not see any of it because it was out to left field, but it just barely cleared that fence. The high porch out in left. How about a 5-run fifth? And we will most likely be seeing a pitching change here, and indeed we are. We will be right back to the action here in Standish. Back to the action at St. Joe's. Ryan Penny is done after 4 2/3 inning. Innings pitched, he was looking good until that 5th inning when the wheels came off. He allowed a single, 2 walks, a hit by pitch, a sac fly, and a 3-run home run to give up 5 runs. And now Josh Murphy comes on to try and get the last out, delivering ball 1 low to Sam Malgeri, who is struck out and flied out. Murphy is a rising freshman at Bryant, out of Lewiston. Made a few appearances in relief for his club. Strike 1 taken by Malgeri, the New Hampshire native. Stands at 6'3", left-hander from Plymouth State, where he's a rising junior. 1-1 inside. Murphy fires. Fouled back for strike 2. Murphy a strike away from ending this top of the 5th, which feels like it's gone for longer than the rest of the game before it. 2-2. Brings the count to 2-2, where it was 1-2 before. Reaching low to fight one off is Malgeri. Murphy stands at 5'11", lefty. And leaves it low, and that will bring the count full. Actually, that is ball 4. Lost count of the count. That's the 3rd walk issued in the inning by the Nor'easters staff. The strange thing about this inning is there have only been 2 hits. A single by Sam Peterson got the rally started, and a 3-run Brandon Concannon home run broke the game open. As Griffin Ruffner will bat, he has struck out twice to start the 2nd and end the 4th. If he is able to reach, then the Windjammers will bat around. To the backstop, past Dylan Furman. Into second base, safely goes Malgeri. Two now. Runner goes down to third. Fielded, though, on the grounder by Murphy. Throws on to first base, and he's safe. Ruffner able to outrun it for an infield single. And the inning continues. Malgeri down to third on the steal. And now, the man who started this inning, Derek Ducharme, flied out to right. Since then, only one of the 8 batters who batted after him in the inning did not reach base, and the one who didn't was James DiGiovanni, who drove in the first Windjammers run on a sac fly. That was the second run, actually, that he drove in. Dancing out of the way is Ducharme. Batting in the spot of Landon Schwartzman. Windjammers currently in prime position to take home the win today, but they really hope that Schwartzman is okay for the stretch run. They will need the GNCBL's best hitter in as many games as they can get him. That pitch about 2 feet over from the glove of Furman, and that will score run number 6 in the inning for the Windjammers. And that Josh Murphy held onto the ball for a bit too long, lost focus, and allowed the runner to advance from second. Ruffner gets 2 free bases out of the wild pitch. Malgeri scores to make it a 6-3 game. And a 2-1 count on Ducharme, cutting a miss for strike 2. Fighting another one off. Murphy trying to end the nightmare. Man on third, 2 outs. Missing outside to bring the count full. Andrew Pruill up in the bullpen for the Nor'easters. They've had 1 inning before where they've had to use 3 pitchers. This would be the second. And that goes off the face mask of the umpire for ball 4. Scoring from third on that was Griffin Ruffner. He was running on the pass ball. 7-3. Ducharme aboard on the walk. Second issued by Murphy. 7 runs and counting here in this 5th inning. And now the man that started the rally, Sam Peterson. He has 2 singles. One of them ended in him being thrown out at second. The other ended in him touching home plate. Murphy starts him off with a ball. Fouled back by the UMaine Farmington junior. A runner on first with 2 outs. Able to get a piece of it, but another 2-strike count for Murphy. He has had no trouble in getting that far, but in the last few times he's done it, he has managed to issue a walk or let them reach base another way. And that goes all the way to the backstop. Once again, missing the mid of Furman by a good 2 feet. And that will allow Ducharme to advance to second. 4th steal by the last 3 batters. 2-2. Misses outside. 3-2 for Peterson. .511 lefty. Payoff pitch. Misses low. He has faced 4 batters and walked 3 of them. Peterson aboard. Ducharme rather stays at second. Bob Wing drew a walk, the first of 2 issued in this inning by Ryan Penny. He is also flied out. He is thus far the only out made by batters 6 through 9 in this lineup, rather. On that fly out in inning number 3. Skip is to the backstop, past the mid of Furman. Down to second goes Peterson, down to third goes Desharam. 2-0 count. Fires in a strike. He has his velocity in check if he can consistently hit his spots. Murphy's a good shot to get out of this, as wouldn't you know it, 2 strikes in the count against Bob Wing. The Windham native trying not to be the one that ends this streak of 5 straight men reaching base. 9 of the last 10. Foul tipped into the mitt, though, and that will end it. 11 batters later, the top of the 5th is over, and what was a 3-0 lead going in is now a 7-3 deficit. The Nor'easters with a chance to answer in the bottom half of the inning. Bottom of the 5th now, Owen Sullivan back on the mound. No pitching change necessary for the Windjammers, facing off now against Chris Balzano, who grounds it to second, throwing on to Sullivan covering first, and able to reach his leg out on an athletic play to tag the bag for out number 1. Laughing with the hecklers coming from his own dugout. Now facing Gus Lappin, who has struck out, as all but 2 batters in this Nor'easter lineup, have. Quinn McCaffrey is safe from the fate, but he has only been at bat once. The only other player who has not struck out is Brady Graffam, but he is 0 for 2. Lappin looks at strike 1. 8 Ks and counting for the USM grad student. And 1 strike away from his 9th. Now in the line to cruise to a win. A 3-run first inning, a distant memory, especially considering the fact that his bats finally came to life. And Brendan Concannon and company gave him a nice lead on the ground to Lambert at third, over to first for out number 2. So for the first time this game, Sullivan will not strike out 2 men in this inning. Even in the 3-run first, he managed that feat. Max Cloutier, though, is another one of the strikeout victims. He was strikeout number 4. Well, since that first inning, since Dylan Furman singled, not only have no Nor'easters scored, not only have no Nor'easters reached base, but since Dylan Furman's single, 12 Nor'easters have batted, and 7 of them have struck out. Just complete domination from the USM grad student. 2-1, missing outside to Cloutier. Gets him to chase to bring it to a 3-2 count. Payoff pitch, cut and a miss. Strikeout number 9, and that gets a fist pump from Sullivan. 1-2-3 go the Nor'easters. After the inning we just saw, 7-3 the margin. Top of the 6th in Standish as the shadows cover 3/4 of the field now. Lambert, Ryan, and DeGiovanni due up in this one, with Josh Murphy back on the mound for hopefully a full inning of work. Tyler Lambert has singled and been hit by a pitch. Reached third the first time he did that and was stranded there. And the second time he reached base, Brandon Concannon homered him home, taking outside for ball one. Josh Murphy came on after Ryan Penny gave up that home run, trying to get one more out. And he did do that, but not before giving up another three, walking three more men, and giving a few wild pitches. Down 2-0 on Lambert. Make that 3-0. Fires in a strike to spare himself a 4-pitch walk. But it will come in 5 pitches. A leadoff walk to Lambert. The 4th issued by Murphy. And that will bring up Colin Ryan, who has singled and walked. He also scored on the Concannon home run. Takes strike one. Incredulous about that call. One and one. Taken low. By Ryan, the UMass Dartmouth sophomore. That will even the count. 2-2. Lined into right field, down for a base hit. Lambert very nearly picked off at second after sliding off the base. He will stay there. Ryan Alma's single. That's just the second hit allowed by Murphy. Many of his pitches have been far out of the zone. And now, the only man that has not reached base today on the Windjammers side, James DiGiovanni. He is flied out, grounded out, and sac flied. Looks at ball one. Diving stop by Furman, doing everything he can to render Murphy's command issues not completely catastrophic, though a few balls have managed to get past him anyway. 2-0 on the Kennebec native. That misses. That finds the zone. And that goes to the backstop for ball 4, past the reach of Furman, not that it mattered. And the base is loaded with none out on the second walk issued by Murphy this inning. DiGiovanni becomes the final member of the Windjammers to reach base. 5th walk overall from number 5. And now Brandon Concannon, last time he was at the plate, inflicted his will on this game with a 3-run shot that gave the Windjammers a lead they seem to be in no danger of giving up. He's also popped out and flied out. This 7-3 margin looking to expand significantly, and Murphy really in trouble here. Found the strike zone with pitch number 1, but the Windjammers are quite content with not swinging. Andrew Pruill watching on from the Nor'easters bullpen. 3-1. Hit into right field, going on Balzano. Gets under it for out number 1. Tagging and scoring from third is Lambert to make it an 8-3 ball game. Ryan down to third. DiGiovanni stays at first. That brings up Sam Malgeri. With runners on the corners and 1 out. Goes around on pitch number 1. He has struck out, flied out, and walked. His second look at Murphy. And again, that's a solid 3 feet over the head of Furman to score the Windjammers' 9th run. That's Colin Ryan scoring on the wild pitch. And the turn this game has taken, a hairpin one. Into the dirt for ball 2. DiGiovanni advanced to second on that. Now Jerry dances out of the way. 3 balls and no strikes. Runner goes. That's a 4-pitch walk. Now Jerry draws his second base on balls. DiGiovanni advances to third on a steal. And it looks like that will do it for Murphy. 6 walks was the cutoff for him. Andrew Pruill will come in to replace him and face Griffin Ruffner when we return. Back to the action in Standish. Josh Murphy is done. He allowed 4 more runs on top of the 5 allowed by Penny and got just 2 outs during his tenure. Andrew Pruill on to replace him, a senior at Thomas College from Warren. Line right at the third baseman and dives on for a unassisted double play. That's one way to end the inning. A diving stop by Max Cloutier to cut down James DiGiovanni at third base, and that will end the threat with 2 more runs in. A 9-3 margin now in favor of the Windjammers. Bottom of the 6th. Owen Sullivan's day is done after 5 innings of 3-run, 3-hit, no walk, 9 strikeout ball. The man on to replace him in relief is Jimmy Gignac, a sophomore pitching on his home mound. His freshman year with the Monks was spent on the JV team. As such, he has no stats available. He is facing off against Luke Chessie, who will bat for Quinn McCaffrey. Swings and misses at strike 1. Jesse, a senior at Bowdoin from Saco. He's batting .313 with 7 runs batted in. One of the most productive hitters in this lineup. He will take McCaffrey's post at first base. He and Dawson Gunlaw and Brady Graffam will have to shoulder more of the offensive load, with star hitter and outfielder Brett Federico out for the season. He suffered an unfortunate injury in the GNCBL All-Star game that required him be shut down. Which is why Ryan Robertson is out in center today, fouled back by Chessie to stay alive. Gignac has split time between the plate and the mound this season. At the plate, he's batting .250. He's made a few appearances out of the pen for the Windjammers too. Into left field, foul. That play that ended the last inning is one of those that I really wish could have shown you, but was right off screen. It was lined right at the third baseman, Max Cloutier, for out number 2, and then as this is lofted into right field, Colin Ryan makes the grab for out number 1. Before the runner on third, DeGiovanni, even knew what was going on, Cloutier dove back into third to tag the bag and record an ultra-rare, unassisted double play. Something so rare I'm not even sure how to score it correctly. As Jack LeBlanc now will bat, he has singled and struck out. Gignac starts him off low. LeBlanc is at short today, the senior at USM. He transferred there after 3 years at UMaine, where he saw no action. Or that was after 2 years at UMaine. His last year was at USM. He hit 2 home runs while batting .143. So far this season, batting .368, one of the league's very best hitters. 1-1 from the righty. Down the first base line, fielded by Lambert, steps on the bag for out number 2. That's Malgeri at first. Pardon me. Now 2 out for Michael Weirn, who has walked and scored, also struck out. The first 2 batters in the game for the Nor'easters both scored. Andrew Merrill also doubled and scored, and Dylan Furman singled in that inning. Since then, not a single Nor'easter has reached base. In the 5 innings and counting since that Furman single. This Windjammers pitching staff has pitched a combined perfect game. High for ball 2. To the St. Joseph's Junior, a intra-squad matchup here. St. Joseph's pitcher versus hitter. Big cut. Two and 1. Gignac gets him to chase again on a blazing fastball. Two. Fouled back. Just got a piece of it. Did Warren. He stays alive. With Ryan Robertson on deck. His team down by 6 in a game they led by 3 for most of it. 2-2. And shallow right. Coming on Ryan to make the grab for out number 3. And that continues the streak of 5 straight perfect innings by the Windjammers pitchers. We head to the top of the 7th, 9-3. Andrew Pruill on the mound for mop-up duty. Reverse mop-up duty, I should say, in the top of the 7th, with Ducharme, Peterson, and Wing due up for the Windjammers. Ducharme has flied out and walked. Both of those came in that 5th inning. So far, in that last appearance, Pruill threw all of 1 pitch and recorded 2 outs. He's thrown 2 so far in this at-bat. To the sophomore out of Dixfield from Central Maine Community College up in Auburn. I called a couple games there. Beautiful field, beautiful campus. A view similar to this one on the press box that was inexplicably built along the third base line so that you can't see what's going on. That is in for strike 3. Ducharme goes down on the first K for Pruill. 5th by the Nor'easters staff overall. Sam Peterson hits it into right, past the glove of Robertson. That will roll all the way to the wall, coming into second, and going for third now is Peterson. He will get in. The throw will not be in time. A 1-out triple for Sam Peterson, and he is 3 for 3. He has reached base every time. First hit allowed by Pruill. And now Bob Wing has a chance to drive in his squad's 10th run. In the last 3 innings, he has flied out, walked, and struck out. With a man on third, line right at the first baseman, Luke Chessie, for out number 2. And the last batter of the day for the Windjammers will be potentially Tyler Lambert. Grounded off the mound, coming on the shortstop LeBlanc over to first in time to retire the side and leave Lambert at third. Well, that's all she wrote for the Windjammers. Coming up in the bottom of the 7th, the Nor'easters have a 6-run mountain to climb with Robertson, Graffam, and Merrill due up, as this one nearing its end. We're about ready to start the bottom of the 7th here at the Larry Mahaney Diamond in Standish, Maine, with Jimmy Jignack on for his mop-up duty to face batters 3, 4, and 5 in Max Zalewski's Nor'easters lineup. Ryan Robertson has struck out and grounded out. He pops it up foul out of play. What a game this has been. The Nor'easters jumped out to a 3-run lead. 4 of the first 6 batters in the game reached base against Owen Sullivan. And in the 6 and change innings since, no batters have reached base. It is a combined perfect game, setting aside the first inning as that skied into right field. Colin Ryan barely has to move for out number 1. Brady Graffam has grounded out to first. And actually, this is Hunter Brissett batting for Graffam. The sophomore at USM from Lisbon looks at strike 1. The Windjammers, meanwhile, seemed flummoxed by the masterful Ryan Penny. They had a few close calls, couldn't quite break through, and then Penny completely melted down, allowing that 3-run home run to Concannon, and Murphy came on, gave up a few more runs, and Just like that, 9-3 with 2 batters left. Cut and a miss from Brissett. 1-2. Gignac. Low. 2-2. Brissett works the count full. An electrical engineering major at USM, trying to be the spark of a potential rally. Payoff pitch. In for strike 3. That is the 10th K by the Windjammers pitching staff today. And their fate rests in Andrew Merrill, who doubled and scored his first time up. He scored the 3rd of his team's 3 runs many moons ago, it feels like, in that first inning. Also struck out, if you can believe it. As after that Graffam strikeout, Quinn McCaffrey and Luke Chessie are the only, or actually Graffam never struck out. That was 100% with the K, so a few people have avoided that fate. That's line to short, fielded by Ducharme, over to first, and unable to dig it out of the dirt is the first baseman Malgeri, so to the strains of a loud Malgeri, my bad, hope springs eternal. Merrill aboard. On the error, Dylan Furman has struck out and singled, and that E3 there is the first base runner allowed by the Windjammers since this man's single way back in the first inning. That would have been a lousy way to lose a perfect game. Into left field, and that'll do it. Making the catch is Peterson, and that caps a 9-3 clobbering at the hands of the Windjammers bats, and 9 Ks by Owen Sullivan. The last place squad in the GNCBL gets one over the first place squad. They move to 7-8-1, still in the thick of the playoff picture, of course, since every team makes the playoffs, but still in the standings battle with the Norsemen and Patriots down there with them. The Nor'easters, meanwhile, fall to 10-8. Still a half game ahead of the Lightning, but in a battle for first place. And what a game it was to set those standings in stone. The next time you hear from me, we'll be right back at this very field with a doubleheader on Sunday. We'll be calling the Windjammers, or excuse me, that will be 2 between the Lightning and these Nor'easters trying to get back in the win column. Until then, though, I've been Charlie Fellows. Take care.